Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff, Alan, Tori. Today you're in for a little treat, maybe a big treat.
We're looking back. Tori's phone's ringing.
It is Tori.
Oh,
that's a video.
It was a dog climbing a ladder. I'm so sorry.
It's her ring camera, and it's a dog on it. DBL Nation.
Sorry.
Wow. That's not the treat we were referring to. We're looking back at some of the best moments here at DBL. We don't hold anything back, especially when it comes to sex and relationships, and that was definitely true when it came to our discussion about maintenance sex. That's where couples agree to have sex, even if they're not in the mood. Watch. When you're a parent, maintenance sex.
Is that true? This is what happens.
I gotta schedule it in.
Scheduling it in.
Or I don't mean like, oh, here, 3 p.m. on Thursday. I just mean I have to be cognizant.
You wrote on your phone.
I think it's a great idea. Now, there's this thing of like maintenance sex to maintain your relationship, but also we need to remember that there is a lot of Americans that are on antidepressants. There are things that affect your sex life up and down through your life. Testosterone can dip. And so sometimes, like, if it's a constant issue, you should probably go see a doctor or have a discussion that might be uncomfortable. Like, hey, I love you, I want to stay in this partnership, but we might need to talk about another arrangement because I still have a sex drive and you don't. So it's a conversation for every couple.
Yeah, I think it's a real thing. You know, I just noticed from my own relationship, maybe you're fighting a little bit more. You get one going, and then the next morning you're like, hey, what's up? Do you need some breakfast? I'm going to go get a coffee. I'm like, we should do this more often. Really? It's like, it's a real thing.
It's absolutely a real thing.
Tori, do you understand maintenance sex? Because I know that you don't have kids.
I don't have kids, and so, for me, sex sells, a lot of it is in the brain. There's a lot that goes in for women, it's in the brain. So I want to be really into it and sort of part of it, and maintenance sex feels like I wouldn't get into it as easily. But maybe once I have kids, or if I have kids, I would need that.
Well, I think that's the idea of it. It's not always going to be ideal like you're on a tropical island, but sometimes you just have maintenance sex.
When as a parent, am I ever just like chilling alone with my husband? It doesn't happen. I guess if we go away, and that's where hotel sex becomes a thing, right? People talk about like, oh, we got to go to a hotel to have sex because then you're away from the kids.
Your kids don't take naps?
No, Sophie's 4.
Okay,
Miles does.
yeah, that's
but
what
Sophie's
the Lion King is for. Throw it on and head on upstairs. Like, what do you think these movies are for? Thank you, Ratatouille.
I feel like that sound comes on when Al's having sex.
Oh my God. It always gets so awkward, but but we become very childish when we talk about sex sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit. But Al keeps it real. Al shoots it straight when it comes to
It's so important, and people act like it's something that like you can give or take, but it's not. You got to talk about it. You got to schedule it, Sammy. 3 o'clock. Just like you said in the video.
I don't actually schedule it. I just have to be aware of it because sometimes I'm all about the kids.
Well, we're hoping you're aware it exists.
Of course I am. I need it too.
Yeah. Well,
Leave me alone. Somebody else go.
All right. Who could forget our discussion about who made the first move in our relationship? Since my wife and I got together on Big Brother, most of my moves were my moves. Sam knows where this is going. We're caught on camera.
Oh, God. Here's what I've been most looking forward to because I've not seen this moment. Apparently, we have Jeff and Jordan's first kiss from Big Brother.
I have not seen this.
I can't wait.
It's embarrassing.
I really like Jordan. We've been in his house for a while. I was really shooting to, pull the romance card. I've been looking forward to kissing her, and tonight might be the night.
Oh my God, Jeff, I'm so not tired. Like kissing Jeff. He is a good kisser. He's not sloppy, wet.
Oh my! You dove in. I mean, you jumped in.
Hey, what are you got to go into the deep end and all in.
Yeah,
all in.
Yeah.
So what did you do to pep yourself up, or was it spontaneous?
No, that looks like I creeped in with the night vision.
It did look creepy, right?
Like a creep crawling in there. But listen, we became friends first, and then we had that first kiss. That's as far as it went in the house. You know what I mean? So we kept it classy, but it was caught on camera.
What did you say to kind of lock it down to let her know, like, hey, this isn't just something fun? I'm like, what did you say to be like?
Like, did you ask her to be your girlfriend? Your girlfriend?
No.
Yeah, I gave her my Letterman jacket.
Yeah, what is this, the 1950s? The Johnny Rockets?
Mark asked me to be his girlfriend.
What, did you have 2 straws and a strawberry shake?
Anyways, I loved can we see his picture, your Sugar Ray hair?
I just got out of bed.
Let's look at his Sugar Ray hair, please, in that interview.
It was a look look of the time.
Okay.
I guess.
You had hoop earrings and your husband was in Blink 182.
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't in Blink 182, but you for sure copied Sugar Ray's.
It wasn't as good as
Frosted Tips.
Sam's railroad.
You copied his
track.
Frosted Tips.
100% did, and it also is a combination of Ricky Martin's hair. Both.
We have a little side by side. Let's see.
Oh my
You nailed
gosh.
it.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You took a picture of Ricky Martin to the hairstylist, huh?
It was kind of the same. Sugar Ray's was just a little bit longer.
Right, right.
You wore it well.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, good-looking guy, and it worked. You're with your wife to this day.
There was other people in the room.
Yeah, I
who
want
were
you to
making out with Jordan.
Explain this.
Yeah, it's the Big Brother house. You know the concept? It's one house with like 16
So you're like, sure, I'm just gonna fully make out with her while other people are watching?
It was dark. They weren't watching.
They could hear.
Something else happened that I'm not allowed to talk about on TV. But someone else. How do I even say that on
We're
TV?
going to continue on with
All right,
our
there we go.
relationship theme. Jeff and I got a chance to show our softer sides during a chat about how some men experience heartbreak harder than women.
I was brokenhearted, right? I'm very passionate.
Yeah, you're emotional.
Yeah, I'm very emotional. So like, I love hard, I hate hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
That's
everything
honest.
in between. So, do you think there is a difference between men and women when it comes to heartbreak?
I will say this, and I hate to kind of specify genders, but I do think that men overall, our behavior in relationships, until we are ready to be a mature, functional part of that relationship, is poor at best. And I'm being nice to the fellas. I'm including myself. I was terrible until like a couple years ago. So I think women from the age of, and that's why I'm glad they're specifying heterosexual,
Right.
women that have dated men since they were 13, 14, first boyfriend on through their 30s, are kind of used to like, okay, here's the one whose hat's backwards and plays video games, and this is the one that smokes weed as soon as he gets home, and this one never comes home and has a weird lie. I think they're used to terrible dudes, so they don't get as invested, whereas guys, when we go all in, we're like, I can't believe she left me. I think men, we can't believe that we've been left.
I think we are the exact same, men and women.
Yeah.
But society allows women to be more emotional and doesn't allow men to be that way. So now we're finding out, oh, they're more invested. That's because society has made you guys a tin lid. Is that a thing?
No.
Okay.
Tin lid?
like a.
Oh, I gotta go straight to
Okay,
teas.
never mind.
Coming up on DBL, the cost of cancer is way more than financial health. 3 women are working to clean up the cost for cancer patients. You do not want to miss this incredible story. And our interview with Dr. Drew and his daughter. We're talking about their book that's all about having tough conversations with your kids. That's next. Stay with us.
Closed captioning provided by...
Most of us have heard the saying, you should drink 8 glasses of water a day. With this heat, is that enough water? The question, should everyone always be drinking exactly 8 glasses of water a day? Let's verify.
Our source is cardiologist Dr. Pyle Coley and the Mayo Clinic. According to the Mayo Clinic, water makes up about 50 to 70% of our body weight. Water also keeps your temperature normal, lubricates and cushions joints, and protects sensitive tissue. But Dr. Coley says many may not need the traditional 8 glasses.
Every day should not necessarily be the same amount. It should be adjusted up and down based on what you're doing.
So where does the standard 8 glasses of water come from?
That 8 glasses of water came from the fact that, based on a 2,000 calorie diet, for about every calorie that you consume, you need about 1 milliliter of water. That's about 2 liters or about 8 glasses.
Coley says the best way to tell if you're getting enough water in your system is the color of your urine.
It should be very light color. If it's starting to get dark yellow, that means you're not drinking enough.
It also depends on your activity level and if you are in a warm environment. The Mayo Clinic states most healthy people stay hydrated by drinking water and other fluids whenever they feel thirsty. For some people, fewer than 8 glasses a day might be enough, but others may need more. Dr. Coley says you can actually get water poisoning if you drink too much.
You drink so much water that you dilute out the salt in your blood.
So we can verify that no, not everybody should always drink exactly 8 glasses of water a day. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Who are you?
I'm Tori. I thought everyone knew. Sorry.
I know you lying. You are wrong as all get out.
Be honest about what you are, but don't get tough when BLM protesters are walking down the street.
Don't you respect my opinions as well? I have to respect yours. Can't you respect mine?
So do not prevent me as a parent from getting my kids if you're not going to go in. That's where I stand.
Sorry, we're so emotional over here.
DBL is all new every day. Welcome back to DBL. Remember hearing about the birds and the bees from your parents? Yep. We spoke to Dr. Drew Pinsky and his daughter Paulina about their book and why those conversations don't have to be so awkward. Here's a look back at our chat with them.
Yay.
Drew and Paulina,
Yes.
hi.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Okay, so Drew, you've been talking about sex, and I've even been there right next to you on Loveline for years, but it didn't go that smoothly with your kids at first. That surprises me.
Well, I mean, look, when you're every parent is just produced a parent, so that's just we tell the story in the book. The more interesting thing to me, though, is that in spite of these being topics that I've talked about for a long time, the conversation has changed a little bit. And we originally got involved in this project. The idea was sort of backing into consent because that was pre-COVID. It was in the days of the Me Too movement. And I was like, young people are extremely confused about consent. And if we're going to approach that, I need a young person. And Paulina's a writer, and so I got her involved with it, and that was a very good move.
Paulina, you are brilliant. First of all, it's so good to see your face, and I'm just so proud of everything that you're doing, really. But I have to ask you, why were you so reluctant to hear about the birds and the bees from your dad? I mean, I get it, but tell us why.
Because everyone was hearing about the birds and the bees from my dad, and so everyone expected him to talk to me about it, and so I knew it was coming, and I knew that people were getting information, but I had no desire to hear that information.
I know I would start. She would bounce forward with crazy questions. I go, okay, here you go, and she'd run away screaming. So, but listen, This book is not about that. It really isn't. We tell those stories, but this book is about how to have healthy relationships, how to navigate relationships and consent, all kinds of relationships, romantic relationships, relationships with adults, relationships with your parents. We really are focused. We're not focused on the biology in this text. We really are not, because that's out there. That's everywhere.
It exists.
Yeah, it's already out there, done and done and done. But this is about how to navigate relationships in a healthy way. So
ultimately, taking consent out of a sexual context and putting it into an interpersonal context teaches people how to practice consent before they get into a sexual context.
Yeah.
You were talking about consent over and over and over again. Let's talk about that. Paulina, specifically, were there times in your life where consent was an issue? And I don't mean even if it's a capital S sexual assault. I mean even just interpersonal, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think throughout my life, I learned different ways in which I did or didn't consent because we wrote this book. So obviously in a sexual context, I had blurry consent throughout college. I would use alcohol to initiate sex, and it left me feeling emotionally bankrupt and not good about myself. And then too, as a child, I feel like I was put into dynamics with older adults that maybe weren't healthy for me. And I didn't really know the signs and signals for what was an inappropriate relation. And so through writing this book, I think we are able to provide guideposts for people so that when they go through these relationships, they know when they're relating to someone in a healthy way or not.
You said something rather profound last time we were out talking about this book, was that if you'd had this in college, you would have avoided a lot of unpleasant situations.
Absolutely. I didn't learn about consent until orientation week.
Wow.
And, it was consent is sexy, no means no, yes means yeah, and that was it. And it wasn't a nuanced conversation. It was very black and white, and consent is an ongoing negotiation. It isn't something that you just give willy-nilly. You can take it back at any point if you're uncomfortable. And that's something that I really want to drive home.
And look, we get into everything. We get into gender, sexual orientation. We get into all the stuff that's so confusing for late adolescents, and really give them a frame to go after it and understand it in a comfortable way, a non-awkward way. So the awkward thing is not just about the parents, it's about navigating relationships before you really understand what you're doing.
Drew, what's up, man? This is Al Jackson. Really quickly, man.
Hey, Al, man, good to see you.
How you doing? We only got about 30 seconds. What advice would you give to people that are still resistant to getting the COVID vaccine?
Yeah, listen, the one easy thing for me, there's a lot to that conversation. I work with resistant behaviors all the time, right? People that want to keep doing drugs and don't want to listen to people. I know you go straight at them, it's the worst thing you can do. The one simple thing I would start with is saying, look, maybe you don't want to take the risk for yourself, but how about for the rest of us? We have an obligation to sort of make sure we suppress this thing from replicating so it doesn't form more an awful variant. So on behalf of everybody else, at least, maybe take a little bit of risk on your own.
Thank you for that. Drew, Paulina, thank you for speaking to us. I definitely believe that your book will save relationships. It will save lives. Great book. In fact, their book, It Doesn't Have to Be Awkward, is on sale now. Order your copy by going to drdrew.com/awkward. We'll be right back.
The Federal Reserve did something it hasn't done in 28 years, raise the key interest rate by 0.75 of a percentage point. It's a response to soaring inflation and volatile financial markets, with the stock market officially entering bear territory. So the question, is it favorable to invest in the stock market when it's down? Our sources, the Federal Reserve, Chris Hobart, CEO of Hobart Wealth in Ballantyne, Ted Rossman, senior industry analyst for Bankrate.com and creditcards.com. First, a quick vocabulary lesson. A bear market is when stocks decline at least 20% or more from recent peaks. A bull market is when stocks rise at least 20% from recent bear market lows and reach record benchmark highs, typically lasting for months or even years. Inflation is up 8.6% year over year. That means virtually everything we buy, from groceries to gas to clothing, costs more. Chris Hobart says one of the ways to dampen inflation's impact is for the Fed to raise rates.
The Fed does this to kind of slow down the sloppy money that's out there.
This also has an impact on the market. The value of many stocks are lower right now.
You want to buy low and sell high. Too many people do the opposite.
But our experts say you have to take a long-term view.
It's a good thing. Hey, wow, I'm getting this company that was producing XYZ, but I'm getting it at a reduced rate. And that's what you have to look at when you look at stocks.
Hobart says historically, the market goes up over time. So investing in the market gives you a better chance for greater earnings than not investing.
I actually think it could be a phenomenal time to invest as long as you have a long time horizon and as long as this is meeting your risk assessment.
So we can verify, yes, it is favorable to invest in the stock market when it's down.
Welcome back to DBL. Cancer is expensive, even if you haven't experienced it personally. We all know the toll it takes on loved ones. I know I do personally. Earlier, Tori and I sat down with 3 angels, all cancer survivors, committed to making the cost of cancer less of a burden on those already suffering. They go by the Cancer Cartel. Here is another look at their incredible story.
I'm Carrie. I'm Katie. And I'm Shelly, and we are the Cancer Cartel. We are all 3 cancer survivors.
Katie and I were on our way home from another nonprofit event when the idea for Cancer Cartel was born. We were talking about the overwhelming cost of cancer, and we were also talking about our shared passion for luxury fashion, and Cancer Cartel was born. We got our 501c3 in October of 2019 and hit the ground running.
I came up with the name Cancer Cartel because I was trying to think of a name that was edgy and super tough like the 3 of us are. And I came up with Cancer Cartel. At first, these guys were a little scared of it. They were like, what does it mean? I said, it doesn't matter what it means. It's awesome. And it's taking 2 words that are super scary and usually wouldn't go together and just kind of flipping them around and making them awesome, I guess.
I am a skin, thyroid, and breast cancer survivor.
I am a lymphoma and skin cancer survivor.
And I'm a breast and skin cancer survivor. We all 3 had to make financial decisions while we were going through our cancer journeys ourselves. One particular story that really touched me when Katie was going through treatment, my sister, in the hallway I heard a woman speaking to a nurse about how she could not afford to pay her rent and the prescription drugs that she was supposed to be getting that day. And that just really touched me, like how hard this cancer really is, not just going for your body, but just the financial burden and stress it puts on you.
It's so important for us to do this because we have been there. We know exactly how toxic the financial stress of cancer can be. And there's so much in the media about research and funding, which we agree is incredibly important. But what there isn't is media attention and money for the financial impact, the increased living expenses, the day-to-day costs. And we're here to change that.
Carrie, Katie, and Shelly, welcome to DBL. Yes. Oh my gosh, we are so honored to have you here because we here at DBL love everything you're doing. And personally, I've got so much love for you ladies, and to our viewers out there who may not know, these three women helped my sister Monica battle breast cancer. So personally, thank you.
Oh, you're so
It is
welcome.
our pleasure. We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Wow. Well, what can you tell our viewers exactly, like what the Cancer Cartel is for those who are undergoing cancer treatment and how they may be financially struggling? Please, this is your chance to address the viewer who many of our viewers, I'm sure, are either going through cancer treatment themselves or they know someone.
Well, our mission is cleaning up the cost of cancer. And we do that in a lot of creative ways. Cancer is very, very expensive. But the main way that we do that is we accept luxury donated fashion items. Think shoes, handbags, clothing. And we resell those items and give the proceeds directly to people who are fighting cancer.
To receive one of your grants, you have to be a current cancer patient or have completed treatment within a year. We can only imagine what kinds of stories you hear from those who have applied. Is there one that really touched your heart that you can share with our audience?
One woman especially that just touched us. She's a single mom of 4 young children. Her husband left her when she was diagnosed with cancer. Her son's birthday was approaching. He was turning 5, and she couldn't afford just a simple birthday gift for him. So, that's what she was reaching out. Some of these things are just so small, but to her, it meant the world.
Yeah.
And we were so appreciative that we could help her and support her in that.
Now, you guys all three went through cancer treatment. So what was your breaking point when it came to paying for your treatments?
As you're sitting at home and you're seeing all of these overwhelming medical bills show up at your house, not only that, but your daily living expenses are dramatically increased. So you're faced with $500, $5,000, $10,000 bills coming in, but you're also paying for fuel back and forth to treatment. You're eating out more because you're at a hospital. And you might not be able to work. So compound that with the loss of wages, it's so stressful. Financial stress is the worst kind of stress. And if you're financially stressed, you're not able to get well. And we knew there had to be a better way.
You say beauty and philanthropy are at the heart of who you are. Why is beauty, I love that word, such a core part of what you do? What does that mean?
I think for all of us, it was important for us when we were going through treatment to get ready in the morning and put makeup on and get dressed. Sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes if you look better, you feel better.
Yeah, right.
Me personally, I was bald. I had no eyelashes, no eyebrows, nothing. It was really important to me to put makeup on and get dressed. I had to go in every day. My battle was super long, so I couldn't work for a long time. And kind of to keep myself busy, I was buying luxury items, shopping a lot online anyways, and reselling them on eBay.
Smart.
And on other sites. So that's how we came up with Fashion Funds the Fight, and that's where Cancer Cartel was born.
DBL Nation, how incredible are these women? You can learn more about them, how you can help them by visiting Cancer Cartel's site at cancercartel.com. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Biden recently called on U.S. oil refiners to produce more gasoline and diesel as gas prices in the country are at a record high. Around the same time, this copy and paste chain message claiming to tell the truth about gas prices began to spread rapidly on Facebook. Verify viewer Lauren and several others asked us to verify whether a claim included in the message was really true. It states, quote, "There is enough recoverable crude oil within the continental U.S. to supply current and projected future demand for 400 plus years. And that's just the oil we know about. It doesn't account for future discoveries. That's a fact," unquote. So let's verify. Is there enough recoverable crude oil in the U.S. to supply the country for 400 years? Our sources are the U.S. Geological Survey, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and Andrew Lippow, president of Lippow Oil Associates. The term technically recoverable oil refers to the amount of oil that's in the ground that can be produced domestically using currently available technology and industry practices. As of June 17, 2022, the U.S. has an estimated 373.1 billion barrels of technically recoverable reserves of crude oil, according to USGS. The EIA and Andrew Lipow, an oil and gas expert, both say it's not enough supply to power the U.S. for 400 years. So let's do the math. In 2021, the United States consumed about 7.22 billion barrels of petroleum, up 8% from 2020, according to the EIA. With an estimated 373 billion barrels in technically recoverable oil, we would use that up in about 52 years. And in order to have enough supply for 400 years, we'd need more than 2.9 trillion barrels of recoverable reserves. And even with the reduced consumption in 2020, we still wouldn't have enough supply for 400 years.
Clearly, that statement is incorrect.
We can verify, no, there is not enough recoverable crude oil in the U.S. to last over 400 years. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
The extreme heat is causing a lot of us to run a little hot. Some drivers getting frustrated with broken down cars this summer. But does that happen more frequently as temperatures rise? Let's verify. Do car batteries have more issues in hot weather rather than cold weather? Our sources, AAA and Peter Falone with the Universal Technical Institute. Every mechanic will tell you weather affects battery performance.
So the battery of the car actually, in high temperatures, it's when it takes the most amount of abuse.
Falone says a car battery goes through a lot of changes as it charges up, when you drive it, and when it discharges, or when you let it sit. And when it's really hot out, fluid in the battery takes a hit.
You're actually getting a lot of evaporation too. So it's going to impact that electrolyte solution inside of the battery.
AAA says in cooler northern climates, a battery can last 5 years or longer. But in the south, where it's hot, a car battery has a shorter life, about 3 years.
We don't realize that damage or that, the amount of work that battery's gone through, or the discharge of that battery until we get to lower temperatures.
So we can verify, yes, car batteries have more issues in hot weather than cold weather.
Welcome back to DBL. We love hearing from our viewers, so let's hear what they want to know about us. We got a question from Amy for Jeff. Jeff's on the hot seat. She wants to know, if you could play any professional sport, what would it be?
Oh, this is an easy one. Thank you. First off, I'd play professional football. That's what I did growing up.
Played in college,
but being older now, never would play professional football. I would be a professional golfer. Longevity. It's raining. I'm not going out there.
Exactly. And you fly over the world.
Yeah, the best places, best courses in the country.
What position did you play as a football player?
I played running back and strong safety.
Oh, Jeff, I want to see
What's the strong
footage
safety?
of
What's his
you.
job?
What?
What's the strong safety's job?
That makes sure that you receive.
You receive it safely. Very strong. Strong and safe.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you again, same time, same place.